Well, today's a cool day because it's the first snow. It's kind of late. We're damn near at the end of October, and but even cooler than that is I got the Williams from Double Spur Equestrian Center. Did I get that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And I've been bugging Danno to come on the show here for a while, so I'm cheesed. He's finally made it. I know how busy you are. Thanks for taking time out. And
oh gosh, yeah. No, you guys. I mean, when I first got up here, you guys were my first contact when I bought the place, because I bought it when we had 5-6 foot of snow at a level. couldn't find any hay, couldn't get open or anything yet, and I can't remember even how I ended up getting your number, but I did. And I mean, crying aloud, we've gotten along real good ever since, and we've had a good business relationship,
So did you ever see the property without snow on it, or was this kind of...
No, I bought it with the snow on it.
Leap of faith?
Essentially, I looked at a number of places on the peninsula.
Okay.
And because I really wanted to end up down there for a number of reasons. I like being able to boat, like being able to go fish. It's got good hunting. And it's got more horse activity and stuff down there.
Yeah.
And so... it was the first thing I noticed when I came up here. I had originally planned on just looking for horse property where I could train horses and sell and that sort of thing, because there's just it didn't take long to see that there's just no cowboys and stuff up here. And so me and Rochelle Shreve, we got to talking. She is a teacher at Rochelle High School, a good friend of ours, about cutting. And she said, man, nobody's doing that up here. We got to this, got to that. And so that kind of changed what I was looking for. I really wanted to get into the cutting, bring some cowboys up here. And so I told the realtor, I said, okay, change of plans. This is what we're looking for. And so she showed us that place. And from what we could see, we knew that I was going to have to put a decent amount of money in it and that sort of deal. But so we dropped the hammer and bought it. And we got it at a pretty good price. And so after I bought it and closed on it, we had to wait. Gosh, we bought it. It was December 21st when I was at the title company and signed it and moved in. And so we got our first customer. It was in July.
Ooh.
I mean, it was unbelievable. No drainage. I could run my jet boat all over that property.
Yeah.
So me and Dad went outside and we just kind of looked. Ended up having to trench in a bunch of pipe and everything. And so right after that, I ordered the Pro Cutter. I got a hold of Scott Mugrage. Everybody up here knows Scott. Super awesome. I put an ad out, needing cows, looking to lease cows. And he said, oh, gosh, I got cows, And so I went up and picked up some cows. And so we had people calling right after I advertised. And one of the biggest questions I got was either what's cutting or, what kind. And so I'm like, well, you got competition cutting, you got ranch style cutting, you got team penning, and so I kind of spent some time on the Pro Cutter and tried to come up with something that was just kind of a mix of. Nobody up here is going to need to learn bull management. That's just something that, we not going to get into unless somebody wants it. But so we were open, I want to say, about 3 weeks and did my first cutting class. And I'm not kidding you. We were a lot of times about 100 different people a week.
Yeah.
And so
really,
I'd start people on the Pro Cutter, and we'd have them on usually about 5 or 6 people on one side, 5 or 6 on the other, and then we'd have them rotate, get them in, and as they're getting better, we'd get into the short spurts and get people working with just their feet, not using reins and that sort of deal, and then move them into the cows. And so once we got into that and kind of started building on it, now we have our own herd. We got a cow-calf operation and everything else. But and then we ended up that next year leasing cows from Ben Adams, 40%. Awesome guy. Him and Adam jumped right in. Let's get you some cows. And so that was when, at that point, we were donating the use of the facility to FFA and 4-H, and we were doing cutting lessons to benefit them. Proceeds to go to them, and I don't know how many.
Well, that's awesome.
What did we 2 years ago? What did we do? 6 or 7 FFA events or 4-H events, and so I was offering free cutting lessons to 4-H kids. And then we did that for a little bit, and then I just gave them, a cheaper rate. And so we really made a big push to get it out there. And then, we purchased the indoor arena, and my whole summer has been, the end of my property is nothing but swamp. and we ended up going down. I mean, it started at like 2 foot, and we ended up going, I think, 22 or 23 feet at the other end.
Yeah, we had track holes out there.
Jeez.
And so we had to
it.
dig every bit of that down to solid, and then we had to dig a hole next to it, strip everything off, then take the gravel, throw it in to fill the hole. And so that took up. So now here we are. We're at the point for the indoor. So, we're getting into winter, and you can't get enough help. I still work full time and that sort of deal, and so we're working on it. But through all this, Lori got us in touch with Autumn Cole. I'd met Autumn. She come out to the property and wanted to see it, and her daughter Brianna, which is, in my opinion, absolutely hands down the best all-around horseman in the state of Alaska. She's the one that put on the rodeo school at our place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, she can rope. So it was just easier to have her. We spent the whole summer doing roping. We just have a lot of fun. All the customers we have out there, we have zero drama. Everybody we have out there, we just get on the horses. Nobody cares what anybody thinks. We just get out. We have fun. We got the rope and calf you pull behind the wheeler and warm up on it, bring the cows in and go. But we ended up a customer that we had is tied in with James Hastings at Wounded Hearts Alaska, and so we ended up meeting up with James, talking with him, and so
for the viewers, what is that?
Well, it's basically it's kind of like a Wounded Warrior project, and I think they're part of
Very
it.
similar.
Yes.
Okay.
And so what we want to do, and it's something we're going to do, but it just takes a while because it's all out of pocket. We still got to erect cabins. We have to have the arena. We have to have cabins.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we're going to do is the numbers we're looking at is 6 soldiers a week for 5 days for an equine PTSD program.
Well, that'd be awesome.
And so we're going to get them in there first and foremost. I mean, you can't take somebody that's green and have them on a horse more than a couple hours. They're going to get sore. So teach them how to sit the horse, work the horse a little bit, get a feel for it, get them swinging a rope, get them, some of our younger calves, stuff like that didn't get a run, kind of get a rope on them, get them cutting a bit, and just kind of get them away from everything. So the cabins we're going to put are actually going to be above the stalls. So they're up above.
Oh, yeah?
They got a porch.
Okay.
The concrete barn, we got to knock half of it down for a rec room, showers, that sort of deal. But that's our big push because we can do so much with that. And we also want to get into, firefighters that end up with PTSD over stuff and,
Police.
cops and, it doesn't
So
matter.
first responder,
Right.
kind of, yeah.
And so what we're looking at is talking with a really good friend of ours that's into the grants and stuff, is keep the business the way it is, but have a nonprofit side. And so we've gone in looking at grants and that sort of deal to help, but without being a nonprofit, I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? And so that's our biggest push. We have a green light. We'll be getting soldiers in as soon as the arena's up and the cabin's up.
Well, that's awesome.
And
Dan.
so that's why we bought
how'd you-
the sawmill. And
How'd you settle on that goal? Was that the original intent of buying this
in it,
place, or was this more of a...
it's always something that I've wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's find a way to, give back to the soldiers, the cops, that sort of deal. Even though there's times I can get really mad at the blue, I still back them.
Yeah, you mean
You know what I
both.
mean?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's without them, I couldn't even imagine what kind of a place we would have.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so I think that there's a lot of programs out there for soldiers, but it's different when you can get people that are just wound for sound and gone through a lot, and you can watch them sit a horse and watch them work, and it helps them so much. It helps them get through all that. And
Oh, yeah, I think I've read studies on that, and I've seen it firsthand, but it's its own kind of
it is
therapy, and it's very effective.
So with it, I've kind of kicked around the idea, and I've talked with James about it, is to have a video, like a TV series, so that people can see how they are when they come in, how they are when they leave.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
The steps it's taken to get there.
Yeah.
But first we got to be able to get up and running. So I will. Me and Lori are going to work on a nonprofit side so that we can work on some grants and stuff. So when the arena's up, we can go ahead and start using it. But the other thing I want to do, we breed pigs, we breed cows, we got chickens, and the burro. Gosh dang it! I talked with Nick Begich and some upcoming, some candidates for governor. Dude, I mean, the taxes I pay on 8 acres in my place.
Oh yeah.
I'm like $1,800 a month.
Yeah, it's. I don't think people realize how anti-ag those taxes can become in a hurry.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And so it was shortly after we moved in. The only building we had added at the time was a chicken coop. And here comes the borough assessment. Oh, looks like you got
pallets.
Yeah, looks like you got new buildings out
Oh,
here.
they taxed you for the square footage of the chicken coop.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And I told them, I said, all this stuff is set on treated lumber, so you can lift the side, pull it out, put it back in. So if it's not on concrete, it isn't permanent. We shouldn't be getting taxed on it anyways.
Well, I just can't believe they tax a damn chicken coop.
And not to mention, we got a cow-calf operation. We breed and that sort of deal. And the pigs, we got they're coon pigs. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, those are cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
they
edit
come in
in
and
a
out of the
picture of
house
it. But he showed me pictures of pigs. They're awesome.
Oh my gosh, we absolutely love them. They're a huge draw to the place.
Oh, the kids love them.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So we do. It's the barrels is a big deal up here. Alaska's huge on the barrels and poles, but there's a lot of people doing that.
Yeah.
And so we'll stick with cowboying and using whips and ropes and.
So that's my next question then is people don't think of cowboying when they think of Alaska. We're not a huge cowboying
we're hoping
state.
to help change that.
Yeah. And that's why I follow you guys with great interest because I think you've done a good job just watching and seeing it.
Well,
but how have Alaskans responded to
we've actually
offering the cowboy skills and a little bit of that cowboy culture up here?
It's what we run into is it's something that everybody wants to learn, and they'll come out and they'll learn this and they'll learn that, but we don't have another facility yet that's doing it. We've talked to to other people about bringing cows into their facility. I would even help them with the whole deal, so that we can come and so now we can have cutting competition here, and we can have one over here and one over here.
Team competitions,
right?
Yeah.
And so we've had the high school rodeo out at the place for past couple of years, and so because we got the cows. And so they come out and they do the cutting and the roping and the reining and that sort of deal. So that's kind of ended. There was just a lot of drama.
Oh dear.
This last year, and so we're stepping out of that because of it. And so we're still going to be there for the kids if they want to come and learn. I offered free lessons to everybody in the high school rodeo. You can come out. We'll get on a horse, and I had a few people take me up on it. But in the summer, our summers are short enough. You've got Nikiski and Soldotna, and you got Fair, all these rodeos. I mean, if they got to hit every one, it's an everyday deal.
Yeah, and squeeze some fishing and hunting in between.
That's another.
Yeah, the good stuff. Yeah.
But so you said when you first did the cutting class, did you expect the response you got?
No,
I mean, it sounds like you kind of filled up pretty quick.
Oh yeah. It was kind of a lot of people know who Katie Kirsch is. I mean, the lady is just an absolute. She's at the time was, I think, number 2 all around in the world. And I didn't know who she was. And she come out and took a cutting lesson. And I don't remember her being out there the first time, but, she was. And so I had the pro cutter, and we got in a little bit of cows, as I recall. And so she called and wanted a private lesson. And so she come out, and I was like, my God, she had this Palomino that was like. And so I cranked it up a little bit because she was out there, and I couldn't get the horse to mess up. And I said, stop. So I turned it up a little more. And so I stopped about 15 minutes into it, and I said, Katie, nobody has horses up here like that. And I said, you know what you're doing? Who are you? And so we talked a little bit, and I said, Katie, why aren't you working a facility? She said, as I recall, don't quote me on it, but whatever it was, I'm not going to say because I can't remember 100%. But
no worries.
I said, well, why don't you just come work here? So she did. So she was training horses out of the facility, and she was doing lessons too. And so it ended up being, she had an idea. I was, of course, working full-time still. And she said, well, let's do these little mini clinics, 8 to 10 people, 4-8-hour deal. Perfect. And that went over huge. And so the problem that we have is people come, they like it, they have fun, they learn, but that's as far as it can go. A lot of people want competition. They want to be able to do that. And so one of the things that we did, we were just so caught up with the cutting and everything. So the second year, I added games. We did calf sorting. We did cow tic-tac-toe. We did bollet. And oh my God, it's people just absolutely loved it. And so it teaches both ends of the spectrum. So when you get your cows in, I teach them how to do a deep cut and try to hold the herd together, that sort of deal, and side passing around the herd to get the in one out. But when you're cutting, and especially when you're bringing the cow out and you're scoring and you're moving, it's different. So now you got to come in slow, and you have a big tic-tac-toe in the center of the arena, 10 foot by 10 foot, whatever it might be. And so you bring the cow out there, and then you have a circle. And you got to use the posture of the horse to control the cow to get it to move to an X or an O. And so it's just ways to play games. And then so you don't use flour, because you put flour down in the arena, the cows will destroy it eating.
Sorry, yeah.
So I went and got the chalk, and so you put a circle in the middle, and you have 4 circles on on the arena. And so this works a lot better with 4 people. And so you get 2 to hold, and then you get 2 to cut. And so then you got to cut a cow out, and then one person brings it out, and then one's got to stop and center, and then the same deal. You got to stay a certain distance and use posture of your horse to keep the cow in that circle for X amount of time.
How'd they do?
Honestly, better than I expected.
Okay,
I'll tell you
that's
that.
good.
So it's just a way to bring different types of control, with the horse and stuff. A lot of people, we can't. But at that point, you're relying more on the horse than yourself, in my personal opinion. And so I think it just builds a better connection with the person and the horse.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and we want to do more of it. And Brianna, we kind of work the concrete barn. It's an indoor farrier station and stuff now, and she does awesome. And so with the farrieing, she still works horses, and she finished her school this year. And I don't know how much. I think she's going to pretty much be here permanently now. So
yeah.
It'll be a gang way as soon as the indoor's up, and that sort of deal for training more horses. I have an outlet, a friend of mine that I bought my horse from out of Canada, and he's now a dealer and he's a broker and that sort of deal. And so, you look up here, you're not going to find a good cutting horse anyways, at least not one that's finished.
How is, just for people not in Alaska at all curious about it, how is the horse market up here?
Yes. Well, I mean, if you wanted a 2D barrel horse or something like that, you can put you got a good chance of maybe finding that. But if you're wanting a horse to go to work and go ranch and go fence on and that sort of deal, you're not gonna
be a little tough.
Yeah, you're not gonna find it. You're gonna have to bring it to a place like ours.
Yeah.
To get those particular fundamentals, put into the horse, and there's at some point. I mean, we've got a number of people up here that raise cattle. You got Mugrage, and you got Jerry, and you got Ben, and those guys that raise, pretty good numbers of beef. And then you got all these little hobby farmers. So it's quite a bit in between. And one of the big problems that we have, and I talked with Nick about it and these guys too, is, we've got millions of acres that we could farm. But if you were to go in there and clear cut all this timber, I mean, you'd go broke. You couldn't do it.
Yeah,
so
no, it's
if they come in and actually did a timber sale where the state's making money on the timber, and in the contract they got to grind all the stumps and get all that stuff out, and somebody like you or me could come in, and we could grow hay, we could grow barley, whatever the heck it is.
Cows.
Yeah. So now you've got ground, and then they're leasing it at $25-$50 an acre, whatever the heck it is. So now, you get 600,000 acres out there farming. Now Alaska, as it is, we have a lot of customers that still have to buy imported hay. There's just not enough people. Hey,
I'm as a hay farmer,
Yeah,
I can't keep
that.
up.
Yeah, you cannot get enough. And
People
so,
want to, but you just can't. There's not enough. We don't have a lot of farmland up here. In fact, I think per capita we're like per acre we're worse than Hawaii almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. We have, if we could get more of this land cleared, I mean, we could exponentially export enough to feed the country for the amount of land we have, graphically. But, we got to actually have a governor in this. Like I said, we've got to have a cattlemen's association. We need we all that, but it's got to be one deal in this. I know your fight.
The farmers.
You saw my fight with DNRC to the Ag District trying to get it. I mean, it's unbelievable, and the people they got there. I mean, Gavin, is okay, but there's, I mean, so many of those people you try to explain, cow-calf operation. Well, we're going to be calving at this time. Okay, well, why is that? Well, you don't know how the market works. Do you not understand this? And so, we actually need people in there like you guys, like Scott Mugridge, that could come in and be in the governor's office and not a bureaucrat. They can come in and start getting this stuff set up for us in the state. I would hay in a heartbeat if I could get some lease.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hay like you wouldn't believe, and I would honestly grow Northern Austrian peas, and I'd do a mix of ryegrass and meadow brome.
Why is that?
The meadow brome grows now you look at like your smooth brome, your meadow brome, that sort of deal. Just trust me, look at this and see how it grows, the rotation and everything on it, and how much better it does in a colder climate, especially here where we have 24-hour sunlight in the winter. And your ryegrass is going to do good anywheres. But the northern Austrian peas, look at the protein. You wouldn't feed it to horses; it'd be cows.
That one, I'm pretty curious
36
about.
to 42% protein. So you could literally take.
Do you know, is it a pea, a legume? Is it a fixer?
It is.
Nice. Okay.
So you can come in and you can bale that up.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you'd be putting 4 or 5 pounds a day on your cattle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it would be. We could be an exporter of beef. We really could. We could be an exporter of wheat and barley and cabbage and lettuce and the stuff that we grow up here. You look in Palmer, we grow the biggest stuff in the world that we can grow. 150-pound lettuce, cabbage, 130, whatever the heck it is. I mean, they're massive.
Yeah.
But we need ground.
Talking to someone else the other day, but yeah, I mean, people think you're kind of nuts, but it's totally within reason to think that you could be exporting food from the Nat Valley here. Look
over at Yukon territories, Northwest territory, that sort of deal. Their hay is imported, and a lot of that's coming out of Wyoming and Montana. Jackson's used to drive hay clear up there.
Yeah.
So if we could actually, get somebody to care, and work with us here. I mean, cried out loud. I mean, what is it? 4% of the state is owned, something like that. The rest is state and federal.
Yeah. It's just terrible.
We have more land than we could ever even possibly, but we got to have a governor and stuff that's willing to actually bite the bullet and say, you know what, let's quit bringing all this junk in. I mean, look at our fruit and stuff. I don't eat fruit and vegetables, but nonetheless. But you look at it when it comes in here.
You want like an all meat diet or?
No, I mean, I'm dead serious. This is going to sound crazy to you.
Go for it. Let's hear
I'm
it.
honestly allergic to it. I haven't eaten fruits or vegetables since I was about 5.
Okay.
Like bananas, my hands will even swell up if I touch them and stuff. Nothing but meat and dairy. Nothing. Every once in a while, I'll eat a little bit of lettuce. My mouth gets a little hot, but that's it. But I've been that way since I was a kid.
So just meat and dairy.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Hey, if you're going to be allergic to something, those are the things to be allergic to. I feel bad for the people allergic to dairy and meat,
If I was allergic to meat, I'd have been dead a long time ago.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, my gosh, I couldn't do it. But I mean, that's our big push. All of us facility owners, we know each other. I don't have an issue with any of them. I mean, I've been invited to most of the facilities when they have events, and it's like, oh, sweet, I'm having an event too. Why don't you leave yours, come to mine? It's like, my God, we have a good weather day, and so we take advantage of it. But my big push is to, like I say, we're pretty fortunate with the customers we have. It's not like
very much.
We have this drama.
That's always a blessing,
Oh, it is.
It takes a couple years when you start a business, there's bad eggs that first year, there always is. And then as you go on, you start to realize how blessed you are with the customers who are there.
And that's it. So our first and second year, we never really had any bad customers, but, we had some that, I mean, it's, their horse will colic on cold water, sort of. We've literally been told that. And it's like, oh, okay. So,
and hot water.
Yeah, and then so you put another tank heater in just to try to, make them happy, and then it's too hot, and they're going to, it's like, you get to a point where it's like, you know what, you need to go somewhere else because it just...
It's a weird thing that no one tells you starting a business, but some customers aren't worth the money.
No.
Yeah.
I would rather shut the place down and lose it than to deal with a bunch of drama from customers. To me,
at the end of the day, it has to be a place you can wake up and go work. You don't have to love it every day, right? But it's a business.
Well, I have to because I live on site. So
same here. Maybe I shouldn't open my mouth.
But, and it's like, Adam in Ben, when I was working on the equipment and everything, so I was working full time, keeping their equipment up, cow-calf operation. It was stupid. It was stupid. And so
that was 6 and 7 days a week.
Yeah. And so then the guy I was working for lost a bunch of work, didn't have work. And so I had to go to Anchorage. And so I just told him, I said, man, I can't.
That's about an hour and a half commute for those not familiar with the
It is. So
valley.
from my house, from where I live there in Hetcher Pass.
Yeah.
Well, if I drove speed limit, it would be
Yeah.
You know,
You were talking about you had a problem with some guys in blue, you know.
they actually, I mean, the cops, you know, they get up on the overpass.
Oh yeah, yeah.
80 mile an hour all the time, all the way to Anchorage, all the way back, all the time. I've never, the only time I've been pulled over in the state of Alaska, I was going through Anchorage. My daughter called, and I can't remember what it was. I was on the phone and not paying attention. I run a red light, and I was speeding. And so it was an Anchorage cop too,
Yeah.
and he pulled me over. He said, "You know that being on that phone is illegal, isn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And he said, "Why were you on it?" I said, "My daughter called. I can't remember what it was." And he said, "You run a red light too?" And I said, "Dude, I honestly didn't realize I run." He said, "That's because you're on the phone." And he said, "You were speeding too." I said, "I knew that was happening."
All right, you got me on the speed.
And so I gave him my driver's license, and he come back and he said, "Slow it down and stay off the phone. We'll see you."
Nice.
I mean,
Nice.
I can't complain there. It
No,
worked out
no,
pretty good.
absolutely not.
But we wanted to get into the mounted shooting too.
Oh yeah.
And I've never met Rebecca Cooper. You know, I've never met her, but I've talked to her over the phone. She seems like a super nice person. That's her niche. I'm not going to go stepping in that as much as I'd love to. I'm not. I got enough going on at my
You are
place.
busy, yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to add to it. But
So so you have the veteran and the first responder kind of the therapy with the equestrian therapy, which I think is awesome. And then you're continuing to do the cutting and some of the cowboy college kind of stuff.
It was so chaotic this summer.
Yeah.
That's why we got into the roping.
Okay.
And so I wanted to do the cutting too, but my gosh, you know, with the equipment,
There's only so many hours in a day, and yeah.
And so I talked to Brianna about doing the cutting, but she headed up the roping deal. I mean, believe me, she can rope.
Yeah.
And so she's a better roper than I am any day of the week, probably in her sleep. And so it's just easier for her. And so for me, I've never been a competition cowboy. You know, it's always been working ranches on the back of the horse, pushing cows, roping cows, doctoring, calving, that sort of deal. And I even calve with a rope. A lot of people use the chains. I would take my rope, take it underneath the horse and side pass so that it's pulling down. That's the way.
Where'd you learn all this?
Working ranches, C over T, TE, Hoodoo.
In Wyoming.
Down Wyoming.
Yeah, Wyoming, sorry.
We're both from Wyoming originally, so
Yep.
that helps.
Dad was born and raised here in Alaska, and ended up in 72 is when he moved to Wyoming, wasn't it?
Oh, no, 64.
60. Oh, that was the same year as the earthquake. Then.
Yeah, we finished out school year after the earthquake, and I was in Valdez. We moved up to Glen Allen, finished out the school year, and then, we didn't have anything left to go
No,
back to.
geez, that hit that area hard.
Yeah,
It did.
So we went down to Wyoming. My grandmother had family down there, so that's where we moved to, and got. We didn't come up here until 2020 or 2021.
Yeah, 2020 we moved up. I came up here when I was 17, and I've never ever been able to get out of my system. My first marriage.
No, you don't. You get
when we got married, I told her, I said, "I'm heading to Alaska, and you're going with me." "Oh, that's fine." Yeah, right. Took me 18 years later in a divorce, but I'm fine with it. I wasn't happy. Wyoming started getting real funny. The laws, the hunting.
It is
the
good.
offer.
And you see the price of land down there lately.
Oh,
Oh
dude,
man.
ridiculous.
It is absolutely nuts. Montana's the same way. Montana blew up. And so, I moved out of Wyoming in 2004. And then I left Montana 2006. And then I left Montana in 2020 and came up here. I needed to get more. I've always loved, my passion's always been being a cowboy. I've just never been able to make money at it. I'm still trying.
It's like me and farming,
Yeah. Oh, Lord. It's someday, that's exactly what I'll be able to do. And at some point, the biggest thing is being able to work with and so we've been out there to James a number of times. Dad's been out there with us. And he called one day and said, "Man, I got a bunch of people out here. Can you come out?" So we loaded up horses and head out there and gave rides. And everybody just loved it. I mean, it just, and we've had some out at the house and that sort of thing, but you can only do that sort of stuff so much out of pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so but going back to, anyways, one of the other things that we really want to do, I cannot remember the lady's name. She's in the DNRC office next to it, and she's the state director for FFA.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know who you're talking
Stephanie,
about.
is that her name?
I'm so bad with names. Yeah, couldn't
Anyways.
help it. But I've talked to her. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I saw her, and then Miss Chloe with 4-H. Know them both pretty well. I want to get. We don't have enough cattle for the people to show for 4-H. We don't have enough pigs.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
we don't. And so, what I want to do, if I want to do this twofold. So the other thing, of course, I'm looking for land that I can lease or whatever for, and so I would actually bring FFA in with it. The kids would come out. They'd actually learn. We would drill, we would seed, we'd fertilize, we'd cut, and then a certain amount of that proceed, half or a third, whatever, and then the kids can take that and they can sell that, and that money goes back into FFA, and they're also actually learning how.
Well, that'd be awesome. I mean, that's
how to do it.
actual,
But I can't if I don't have.
which is hard to do in farming.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Because you're so time limited. That's why I got to be kind
Well,
of
it's time
smaller
limited.
scale.
It's not like
Weather
the
limited,
equipment's
everything.
cheap or anything like that.
Well, that's it.
So if you're a kid wanting to get into it, if your family's not already in it,
You're
Right.
done.
it's hard. And it's Alaska. There's like 3 farms you can go choose to work for, right?
That's-
And they're all
they're booked up with family.
exactly.
And so
Yep.
it gives them the opportunity for that, but I can't do that, without grant money or
No,
donation
yeah.
money or something like that. But it's something that we've got to do because you look how many, 4,000 farms, shut down every year or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Average age of the farmer is like 65.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so the kids are like, dude, I don't want to work. So they don't take it over. And so we got it. These kids have got to get real world experience. Doing some stupid simulator on a computer just doesn't do crap.
It's not quite.
No.
Yeah.
So they need to get out and experience real world. And with that, it would probably be $1 million to do it. But on that back
Oh,
4 acres, I would
yeah.
want 100-foot by 200-foot heated indoor and just put stalls in there, an FFA free use. And so they can come in, and with that money, we could, kind of loud, we've even said we would donate half the herd. So half the calves every year could go to 4-H.
Which would be great because there's such a shortage on.
Oh, it is. And
Yeah.
so then I could just use the other half for the cutting and roping, and I sell them. These go to 4-H. It still goes with good cause. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then they got a heated arena they can use, and I got enough parking lot. We can put about 150 vehicles or something. So we can, to a point, which they've talked to me about hosting events and stuff on the property and that sort of deal. But if I'm using this indoor that I paid for, for cutting and roping
Right,
and working
right.
soldiers and training horses. How are we going to put stalls and stuff in there? Because you got to have enough room in the front. They'll have to have a concessions. And so if we could do like a little upstairs room for like judges, then they could be up above everything seeing, and then you can judge, the horsemanship and, the cowmanship and everything everything can stay there. So with that, especially if we use my cows, they would have to be involved in the calving process. They'd have to be involved in the weaning process. They'd have to be involved in the vaccination. So they'd be able to learn so much more doing it that way. And so now we haven't only become an outlet where we can help the soldiers and help the cops and, that sort of deal. Now we're actually helping build the younger generation, the future. And so I could care less. We do barrels and poles and stuff like that, but I just don't host events for that. And so I'm just trying to keep it cowboy, keep more cowboys up here. And we had, seeing we haven't had no papers really talked about it much. I'm not going to say what industry or what organization, but we were talked to about basically, we'd have to put up more cabins, but taking a couple people, soldiers, that would come out of military, out of battle, whatever you might want to call it, that want a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And so say they, I want to go be a rancher. I want to be a ranch hand. So they would come to me for a year. They would learn how to train a horse. We'd get them a horse that was unbroke. They would have to train it.
Oh, yeah.
They would have to learn to manage a herd, how to calve, how to doctor calves, how to cut, how to sort, how to push cows. They'd basically come learn how to rope and be a cowboy and then get recruited to a ranch position.
Well, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
But there again, I got to get,
almost like a trade school program, but targeted towards like ranching and
in a
ag
sense,
and,
yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yep.
So.
And so I wouldn't do that, like with the farming. I would just assume stick with, these high school kids and stuff that are in the FFA program where, they can just come out, okay, guys, go out there, take a look. What are we looking like? How close are we to pre-bloom? When are we looking at like we need to cut? That sort of deal. And so, if I could get something like that going, I know you'd be all aboard,
No,
dude.
no, 100%.
But you guys,
I'm all about the 4-H net.
well, I know
yeah.
that. But you, for how much you've got to put up, dude, you're moving at a tenth of the rate when you're doing that. You can't do that. But if I had some property where we could do that on, then you could. So you could come in and cut. We could cut just a little bit later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then you could come in and work. I mean, you know more about farming than I do. So you'd be a good person to come in. And so same with setting up, a farm and ag board. I think that you would be about because you're so centralized in the state anyways. And so
The location helps for sure.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal. So if we had and I mentioned Scott Mugrage to literally just head up and run a cattlemen's association up here out of the governor's office. We need to stay Alaska. We don't need people in lower 48 that
That's right.
think
No,
that
100%.
you know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
I mean, you look at like the
Absolutely.
drilling in the. I mean, dude, we need to drill all over the place. And they have this idea that this Arctic up there is this plush wilderness when it's nothing but little rolling hills.
Well,
as
my
far
problem
as
is you
can
hear
see.
about Alaska in the news, and people fail to realize how big the state
Oh,
is.
it's-
It's
Unbelievable.
massive. So when they're talking about a location, generally it's that big, that far away, and there's
There's nothing.
nothing. And the engineering and the pre-construction and all that's gotten so good, they
Dude,
can
they
have a
don't-
minimal impact on
They
any
don't
kind of
even
environmental
have-
anything.
Right. There's literal zero. So you look at the areas that they are. Okay, you look at let's just take highway construction for instance. The borrow ditches grow better than any place that you're going to see anywhere because of the fact that the ground has been worked up, it's been seeded, and they got to do the same thing when they're done with the site. Okay, you look at the dumps. Okay, you got these city dumps that they'll move, and they take this location, they bury it, they soil. Dude, yeah, okay, and then you got the people, the pipeline kills that. In the middle of winter, the snow's melted underneath the pipeline. There's nothing but caribou and moose lined up under it, eating green grass. But
They love it.
I don't understand where they don't. They need to just leave us alone. We live
Well,
here. We
if
know
you
how
want
to
to
run
comment on it, you should have to go to Alaska, then you should have to go to these locations,
Right.
live there
100%.
for,
That's
yeah.
If you remember, Bill Clinton wanted to ban cattle guards because he thought they were armed gunmen. You know what I mean? It's Lord help us.
So
We're
on
not
that
in good
note, I guess last question for you. What's been the biggest challenge in getting any of this done? Kind of a loaded question, but
What do you think, Dad? I mean, Dad, he's been there the whole time helping build and anything you need.
I think the equipment has been. the
oh,
biggest problem.
you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of know about that.
Yeah, I think that the
It's
equipment's been the
expensive.
biggest-
You
oh
can't
my
find
God,
any of
yeah.
it.
And you can't go to, say, CAT because you can't afford their equipment. That's all there is to it.
Well, I mean, equipment always is. The problem is up here we have New Holland. That's it. Well, you got Mahindra, but they're not really farm
I
equipment.
got John Deere too.
You do, but
Yeah.
the particular dealer that deals John Deere is a dealer that I don't want to deal with. So we'll just keep it at that.
Fair enough.
And we ended up buying a Solus.
Yeah.
We got the Solus.
How you liking that?
Oh, love it. 500 hours on it. We bought it with. I went down and picked it up. I bought it from Fairbanks from some people that bought one, moved up, and they didn't need it anymore.
Okay,
24 hours on it, something like that. We haven't had it. Well, except for we feed the cows. We literally go through. How often do we get grain? Every week and a half.
Yeah.
And we get about 7,000 pounds. That's how much we feed.
Where do you get your
2,300
grain?
cows.
Getting that out of Delta?
No,
Or-
Talkeetna Brewery.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
And
Happy
so
cows.
that's how
beer,
much,
Yeah.
dude. Our
They love
cows,
it.
literally,
They love
I've got 2 that are almost prime. I got 3 or
Yeah.
4 that are choice. That grain, and you're skinning them and stuff, and it's like you're just ready to just fire it up and get to
Just
cooking.
drooling already.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's awesome. So we still have
Lots of fat.
some Angus, some black Angus to sell. The rest of them, I want to say we got 4 or 5 left to sell for this year. We're picking up 4 more out of Homer, some bull calves, because our calves that are going to be dropping, they won't quite be weaned by about midsummer. So I need a few left there to use, and then as soon as our calves come into play, then I won't have to buy.
Yeah.
Not gonna have to
How's
buy.
so you're in the beef market too now?
Yeah,
Little bit?
it was kind of by chance because I'm leasing cows, which works out pretty good. It helps the the cattlemen completely.
Oh,
Because
yeah, 100%.
I'm taking them. They don't have to feed them. They don't have to care for them. I'm graining them. And then they get them back, and they're bulky because they've been used, and they're
Yeah, they're
fat.
putting on muscle and
Oh, yeah,
they're
everything.
eating well.
And so,
yeah.
I mean, we go out and we work the cows, and like I say, we're going through 7,000 pounds of grain in a week and a half for 23 head of cows, and so. We make a trip every week and a half and get that picked up, and then of course, we buy hay from you for the cows, and that sort of deal. Plus, they get the salt licks, they get the mineral blocks, and we buy
getting pretty prime.
the alfalfa cubes and hot water, and so they get the mash, and I still give them whole oats and 50-pound bags of barley, and so I mean we sell them at $6 a pound on the hoof and 7 pounds on the rack, so we're still cheaper than.
I was gonna say that's pretty competitive.
But we don't make a lot, but so we go out and we use these cows and for the roping and the cutting and stuff. So we haven't quite made enough to basically pay them off, so to speak, because by the time a cow hits the ground to the time it's 1,000 pounds, you've already put $2,000.
Oh
in
yeah,
it.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Probably on average. So we don't have to sell them at a higher cost in order for us to make money with it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It kind of works good for people too.
Kind of fits in your operation, and
it does.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens. I am going to come up with a nonprofit side for Double Spur, and of course I'll have a donation deal set up, and I want to set the donation deal. I can't remember who in the heck it was that's telling me about it, where somebody will donate and you can keep that. So say you were to be like, I'm going to give you $1,000. I can take that 1,000 and be like, okay, this went to buy this cow for this 40, so that somebody can actually see what their money's going for.
That'd be
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, or you could call and say, okay, say Elon Musk calls and says, I'm going to give you.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, he calls the dude. $1 million. This is going to be strictly for. It doesn't matter. If it's $5. If it doesn't. That way, I want to be able for someone to see exactly where their money went, or if they say I want this to go just to this, that way they know they did. Okay. I don't donate to organizations because, I've done that before. Yeah, I've actually called them. Hey, what about? Oh, it doesn't even show you donated. And it's I have no trust or faith in it. So I want to make sure that people feel comfortable doing it, can see what their money's going for, or that it's going for something that they want it to go for.
Oh, absolutely. I know, like most people, especially these days, money's only getting tighter, and you want to donate, but a lot of these organizations, it's like you just never know anymore.
Oh, I know, and that's a huge issue. Now, if we
sure,
have a
our
local,
CEO gets paid $1 million, but after that $1 million, we'll donate that.
Or you can be GM and just get $500 billion of tax money and just be like, we're not paying it back. We're good.
Yeah, where do I sign up for that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So it's the biggest. You got a lot of the ranchers, a lot of the farmers up here, for the most part. We can stick together, that sort of deal. But people, until we can really get some more land and stuff to farm, people are really gonna have to start working together a lot more than they are. They really are. There's a couple of them that I know personally that are so out for themselves they'd cut anybody's throat if they can benefit themselves a little
Unfortunately,
bit.
yeah.
And I'll tell you
but
what, we
to
can't
be fair,
have.
that's in every state.
Well,
in
it
every
is.
ag
It's
industry.
everywhere you go. But
we don't have to deal with it.
No.
The nice thing about it is we have the choice. We don't need to put up with it.
Yeah.
But like you guys, hey guys, I need some panels. Awesome, I got some. Come get them. I need this. Come get it. I need to borrow this. Come,
it's
and
such
you
a
call,
small
hey, I got this
state,
broke down. That sort of deal.
Such a small industry that I don't know why you don't just help people when they ask.
Exactly.
It's hard enough to survive on your own, let alone want to
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dying trying to get some people to help me get this arena erected. I'm telling you what, man.
How close are you to that?
The groundwork is done. So we ended up getting it to cover more shelter. And so we originally were going to order, I think it was an 85 by 200.
Something like that.
And that was cedar span. And so really good. It was a lot of sunlight and stuff. Because at the time, you look at a metal building, a 50 by 100 was almost $500,000.
Ooh, I believe it. Yeah,
I got to go the tent style. So they cover more. They have a number them up on the north slope. So if they'll handle the 40 below weather and 60-mile-an-hour winds, they'll handle anything I want to do here.
It's
and
a pretty good way to look at
guys
buying
have
things.
is
There's no slope, use them. Do they work up there?
Right.
All right, they'll work down here.
That's
they'll work
just it.
anywhere. Yeah.
So that's what we got. And the only thing that they had in stock was 50 by 150. And I'm like, and it just, I was literally heartbroken.
Oh,
But as I'm digging a hole in the swamp in my backyard, I was plenty fine with 50 by
50
150.
by, yeah. Sometimes God has a plan like
Yeah.
that, you know?
Oh man! So nonetheless, that's where we're at. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm, just going to have to keep working. As much hours as I can every day. It goes into the business, into personal, whatever, and it just goes right back out. Like the sawmill was 25,000, that DNL, but I wanted a good one so that we could do the tongue and groove and
Yeah.
stuff because we got to build. We still got 6 cabins to to build and erect.
Well, I got plenty of lumber. Knock yourself out.
And so, anyway, we got, come knock yourself out on the saw if you need to make
There we go.
more.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see what the heck. And, I've kicked around the idea, buying a service truck and doing that again. But there again, I need to be able to reach a point where you hit that steady even where I don't have to work and I can be home. And then if I was home, I'd be able to get these cabins.
Right.
Like say, we got a green light from Wounded Hearts. All we got to do is get the cabins in the arena up, and then we're running 6 soldiers every week. And so with that, we'll bring in, whoever's suffering with PTSD. This isn't just a soldier deal. The equine therapy works, and it's proven to work so many times. And so we can get these people out there and just let
Get
them
'em help, yeah.
forget about life for a while.
In a nice, natural, healthy
Yes.
way.
It is. And so being
non-invasive.
above the horses, the walkout porch, it'll be like a little 4 foot wide, in a reel. But they can, be standing over the horses. It's just being around them because they get so much in tune with your body, what you feel, they
Oh,
feel,
yeah.
that sort of deal.
100%.
And so it allows them to kind of help themselves, I think, in a lot of ways. If
We
that
got
makes
any
sense.
parting thoughts or final advice for anyone wanting to ranch, farm, or cowboy up in Alaska?
Well, if you're looking to cowboy, you're going to be looking to look for work for a
Yeah,
while.
there's not many.
I called everybody with the guy that was coming out there for a little bit, and most of the guys that run cattle operations recruit their people from lower 48 because there really isn't cowboys up here.
Mhm.
And so we're to the point now. You got Nathan that's phenomenal horseman
Oh, yeah.
and works with horses, and he's been out to the house, seems like a super good guy, and he knows what he's doing. He's really good with the reining. He come out and he was doing some roping and stuff. So I'm not the only person here. I think it's pretty much him and us are the only ones that are doing any kind of cowboy stuff.
Okay.
And we'll hopefully in time we'll get somebody. Maybe I ought to just put up an outdoor out here and roll the cows in, and then we'll have another place to compete, and then we can make a bigger deal out of it.
I don't have time, I don't have money, but I do have land. I got some land. Yeah.
So I don't know. If you're looking to cowboy, I'll tell you what, it's a rough deal at the time. It really is.
Well, what makes me happy is seeing people like you and other folks here in Alaska, and honestly, even in the lower 48, keep the skills and the culture alive, even if the work isn't quite what it used to be.
You've got to. It'll die out if you don't.
Right, and that's to me, it's a very important part of our heritage and being an American.
Oh yeah,
And
it
so-
is. I mean, America was built by cowboys. Hate to say it. Sorry, this is the truth.
Is that
Well,
co-
and
do
vaqueros. If it
people-
wasn't for vaqueros, we wouldn't have the cowboys. So you got to come.
I was going to ask people get upset about that, but I know the answer.
Yep.
People get upset about everything these days.
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
for
It don't matter.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, both
Oh,
of you, for
Dylan,
joining me.
anytime, my
Anything
friend.
else you want to say? Be sure to check them out. You got a Facebook and
I do.
Yeah.
Double Spur Equestrian.
Okay.
I need to quit being so lazy. I got videos and stuff, and dude, us cowboys, we hate technology, and I'm terrible with it. I struggle even getting a video downloaded on there. I need to turn it over to Lori and just have it done. But I do Double Spur Equestrian.
okay.
And so this year, we'll renew the business license. It'll be Double Spur Equestrian and Cattle Company.
Nice.
So
cool.
maybe our borough will be able to read because they can come out and see the cows and still not give us a farm exemption. So maybe if we have cattle in front of it, maybe they think they're big dogs. And so they just, you know what I mean?
That's
Oh,
ridiculous.
them
That's
clowns.
ridiculous. You have
It
more
is.
cows than I do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Oh, it drives me up the wall. Oh, it drives me up the wall. But at some point it'll get rectified, or I'm just going to keep throwing a fit, one or the other.
Sometimes you got to be the squeaky wheel. Sometimes you got to be with the wheel that just
Yeah,
starts a little
yeah,
fire. I
that's
don't know.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Dylan, thank you, sir.
Thank you
Appreciate
guys
it, my
so
friend.
much. Always a pleasure. And
Always.
like I said, check them out on their social media. And if you're in a state, they got some awesome clinics like tic-tac-toe
Oh, yeah,
with cows. I mean,
People that want to come ride a horse, whatever.
yeah.
I mean, we got that covered. Somebody wants to come out for a horse ride. We still got 3 stalls, 2 stalls available now. Other than that, we're full, but we're building on more, adding on, and so people want to come. And that's just it. Like when people that board there, you got full use of the property. I mean, you got soon to be the indoor, the outdoor. You got the pro cutter. We got cows on site. We got the roping machines. We got all that stuff. So we can, by being a boarder, you got use of that all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And so we don't have to set up jumps and stuff with the arena. We just don't have any issues. People come out, saddle up, ride. We got people show up often just to come. We got customers that have horses that don't have time to ride them much, and so they need people to exercise horses.
Yep. And we have saddles.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have a
I've got
saddle,
plenty
don't
of
worry
saddles.
about it.
Yeah.
We got it.
Well, I can tell you after, and this happens organically sometimes, but a couple hay customers, we figure out we both know you, and they're always so. You guys seem to have a way of not just being a business, but people's friend and ally
Well,
and advocate.
that's it. I mean,
Same with you, bud.
You know us.
Same
I mean,
with you.
next to Jesus, my reason for existence is to hunt. I just never get the hunt part in. But we,
you gotta put that on a T-shirt.
when people come out to the house, we don't allow alcohol. We don't do any kind of issues. Somebody wants to stir up problems, they're gone. You're out of here in your band. And so, we have 1 Corinthians verse on the sign when you come in. I don't care. We don't push it on anybody, nothing like that. But one of the big things we hear from people that are even non-Christians is the place has got such a good vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's stress-free. I even got bucked. It was so embarrassing. I was working 3 horses for a customer.
Uh-oh.
A pony.
Yeah.
And then a horse that would just blow up over nothing. Then one horse was just fine, worked with some cows.
Okay.
And so I'd get him in the round crown, touch his sides, man. He'd blow up, and I'd turn his head away and spin him in a circle and get him centered again, get him backed up a little bit, go. We'd be fine as soon as I'd touch his sides. And so I put some weight in the stirrups and, started lunging him and got him going. And them stirrups are just whacking his sides. And he got tired, calmed down, got in there and started touching his sides. And then I put some spurs on. And I'd just lightly touch, and he'd kind of load his hips a little bit and stop. And so I had, I think, 2 weeks, I think is what it was with them. And so the owner would come out with a friend, and I was on the ground getting the cows moved and everything. They just loved the cow games. But nonetheless, so we got this pony done, and Autumn brought out her son. He's 8 years old. I said, I need you to get on this pony because it was too small. And so I did some hard reining, and Autumn come out and helped a little bit too. Anyways, horse guy said, bring your granddaughter out, put on the horse. She got on. Oh, this is great. So we turned the cows out. And she said, here, get on this. I was on the horse. She said, here, get a picture for me, would you? And I got completely complacent, set the reins on the neck.
Oh, dear.
And I took the phone, and she was moving, and I leaned out to the side, and the stirrup come off my boot. Bam, smacked the horse aside. Blew up, and my leg come over, and I'm on the saddle like this. I'm trying to reach the reins. And he made a beeline the other end of the arena, and I just started getting my leg over, and he's spinning in a circle. And I waited, and the edge of the arena was about 4 foot away, and he's getting close, and I waited till he spun and just let go. And I come down and broke some ribs, and
oh, dear.
it was
Ow.
terrible. And so she's like, my God, the horses are great. We got some riding coming up. I would just as soon go ahead and take them home. I'm like, okay, that'll work. It was so bad. That was the most embarrassing moment. And I don't get embarrassed over nothing. And I mean, you probably know me enough. I was embarrassed over that. That was absolute rookie mistake on my end.
It's when you get complacent,
oh my
know?
Gosh.
Yeah.
And I did. Completely complacent. Why wouldn't you just turn the horse and stay centered on the horse? But I didn't. That was it. Phone hit the dirt. I hit the dirt. Of course, I got up like, oh, that's not bad. I'm like,
You go home, you're like, oh, that's bad.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
Ah, that's bad. I didn't know
So-
you broke your ribs. Dang.
Oh yeah.
Dang. Okay.
And I still had, gosh, how many horses? I had
There was a bunch of horses.
8 or 9 horses out there I was working at the same time. And then, from Jenski, we ended up getting, it was either 11 or 13.
13.
13 horses we got from him that we trained and sold that year. I only took 2.
Yeah.
And then one of our trainers, Caitlin, took a couple, and then Brianna, she did all the rest. I'm telling you, the girl is, she really doesn't have limitations. She does do some English and some dressage and
Yeah.
that sort of deal, but she's done pro rodeo and all that. I mean, I'm telling you, you got an issue with a horse, she's the girl. She does good.
All our trainers are pretty good.
Yeah.
They do a pretty good job.
Well, there you have it. Thank you guys again so much.
Thanks, man.
And we'll see you next time.
You bet.
All right.